Hello, my name is Sister Rebecca Ann Gemma. I am a Springfield Dominican sister currently serving on the OP Futuring Task Force. This task force is an ad hoc committee of the Dominican Sisters Conference, which began in October 2018 at a gathering of elected leadership at Maryknoll in Ossining, New York. During an open session entitled The Future of Dominican Life, 22 sisters engaged in a conversation about the future of Dominican life in the United States. That initial sharing has evolved into a moment of grace, energy, and hope. The purpose of this video is to give an overview of these efforts to date and invite you to share in the possibilities before us and pray for our continued openness to the Spirit's guidance. The current members who serve on the OP Futuring Task Force are Michaela Connolly and Tony Harris, who serve as our co-chairs, Diane Bridenbecker, Elise Garcia, Rebecca Ann Gemma, Pat Seaman, Pat Toohill, Mary Ellen O'Grady, and previously involved were Judy Brunel, Angelo Collins, and Pat Farrell. Soon into our meetings, the Futuring Task Force created a vision statement and goals which have guided us in our endeavors. The vision statement. The Dominican Sister Futuring Task Force desires to transmit the treasure of the Dominican charism into the future by enhancing the quality of vowed life for those who have joined our congregations in recent years and in supporting them in mission and in common life. Furthermore, congregations will use their unique gifts and resources to address the common needs of all participating in this collaborative effort. Our goals. The task force will explore ways to develop possibilities for collaborative living and ministry, opportunities for newer and younger members, to free newer and younger members of the burden of administration so they might be able to respond to new ministerial needs. To encourage leadership education for those who have joined congregations in recent years. We will envision the most dynamic future possible for our younger members, while at the same time envisioning the most supportive and enriching future possible for our elders. Throughout our discussions, we remained intentional that although these goals were articulated by the task force for our direction, the development and implementation of such goals with probable additions would be carried forth by a wide circle of sisters who are passionate in living the Dominican charism into the future. So, where have we been and where might we be going? As I had mentioned, in October 2018, at that open space, 22 members participated in a live conversation about the future of Dominican life. In December 2018, an initial task force meeting was convened, and we began the process. Early in 2019, we also explored collaborative ministries and community possibilities that could be engaged now. Might there be ways in which those who could would come together for ministry, and those who were able and wanted to have more community life would come together as well? We did not need to wait, and some of those initiatives are being seen. In the spring of 2019, Elise Garcia shared Dominican demographic circles. Plans began to be gathered for our newer and younger members. Now, the data submitted by each of the DSC congregations in 2017 was used as a baseline for 10 and 20-year projections. Our collective Dominican demographics made clear that the future for younger Dominicans will increasingly be with each other, highlighting the critical importance of having younger Dominican sisters come together now to begin to chart that course. A subgroup of the task force was formed to develop a process which would invite DSC leadership and a representative group of sisters under the age of 60 to engage in futuring conversations. This subgroup included Elise Garcia, Rebecca Ann Gemma, and Pat Toohill. On October 9th, 2019 in Columbus, Ohio, the DSC leadership and 2 members from each congregation under the age of 60 gathered. All participants had prepared for this day-long process, having reflected on 3 articles and many questions. Sister Elise Garcia introduced Collective 2017, 2027, and 2037 demographic projections from the DSC congregations. Using a metaphor with Elizabeth, Mary, and Phoebe from Scripture, she shared possible scenarios in which generations of Dominican sisters engage life and mission intentionally and uniquely through the next decades. This was followed by a contemplative dialogue process, considering the what-if possibilities that were presented and those that were emerging from the group. Between February and July, the task force subcommittee developed a similar process for the congregations to use with their full membership. This included a video of Elise Garcia's full presentation and the contemplative dialogue process. Demographic materials were updated using data from January 1st, 2020, and projected outward to 2030 and 2040. Responses from each congregation to the questions related to futuring the Dominican charism would be collected and used to help discern our next steps. Thanks be to God, we were able to have the first dialogue in person on that October day in 2019. On March 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. From this point onward, all DSC, Futuring Task Force, and subcommittee gatherings graced the computer screen as Zoom became our portal to managing the planned meetings. In September 2020, the synthesis of congregational responses was shared with the 13 Dominican congregations participating. The task force determined to sponsor a second expanded Futuring Dominican Sisterhood gathering, inviting a number of sisters 70 and under, who would work with Patrick O'Neill as the facilitator, Alice Black and Ashley Paulo Neo, who serve in the Peace Congregation as the tech managers, and Sister Mary Ellen O'Grady as interim DSC director. In October 2020, because of the COVID pandemic, the gathering is held virtually. The Futuring Conversation process begins the evening of October 7th, continues for 5 hours on October 8th, and concludes with ritual during the final 1-hour meeting on the 9th. 105 sisters under the age of 70 were invited, and congregations could invite up to 10 sisters into this virtual gathering. The task force had 3 goals in mind. First, that together we would deepen relationships that would support us in vibrant Dominican sisterhood long into the future. Second, that we together would discover our common fire and energy for mission as Dominicans, exploring possibilities for responding together to the extraordinary needs of our times. And third, to identify next steps and chart a course for moving forward together, naming the commitment, the framework, the personnel, and the resources needed to succeed. Overall, feedback from the participants affirmed that these goals were met. In November 2020, after the gathering, the task force began meeting with the executive committee of the DSC to discern next steps. This current leadership includes Ann Lithgow, Marianne McMahon, Janice Brown, Pam Mitchell, Terry Ricard, Corinne Sanders, and Mary Ellen O'Grady. The task force subgroup is joined by the DSC Executive Committee member Corinne Sanders. The subgroup designs follow-up steps, creating a survey and an invitation to all Dominican sisters under 70 to respond. In December 2020, a letter was sent to the DSC prioresses asking them to forward a letter from the DSC Executive Committee and the Futuring Task Force addressed to all members under 70. The letter invites younger members to fill out a survey, which was due on December 18th, 2020, to indicate which of the 3 major interest areas identified by their peers in the fall DSC gathering that they wish to engage in. The 3 areas surfaced are to engage in a variety of affinity conversations with one another, to create a database of Dominican sisters under 70, and to form a task force or team of sisters under 70 for the advancement of Dominican life and mission. In January 2021, the survey responses indicated that there were high levels of interest and engagement in each of the 3 areas, which was wonderful. The responses called for the formation of a core team for the advancement of Dominican life and mission, 9 affinity groups for engagement around specific issues, and a database design committee. It became clear that forming the core Futuring team was key and foundational to unfolding the next steps among Dominican sisters under 70. In February, a letter was sent to the DSC leaders and under 70 respondents to the survey, providing a summary of the survey results and proposed next steps. So in February through March, 4 sisters, including Janice Brown, Corinne Sanders, Rebecca Ann Gemma, and Tony Harris, formed the OP Discernment Planning Subcommittee. They were to contact a facilitator and design the discernment gathering for survey respondents who offered to serve on this core team. On March 2nd, 2021, an invitation was sent to 31 sisters under the age of 70 who self-indicated their openness to discern participation in the core team. Sister Joan Scanlon will facilitate these virtual gatherings. There will be 2. The discernment gathering number 1 in April is to gather sisters discerning participation as members of this core leadership team for the advancement of Dominican life and mission. The second gathering in May is to gather the same sisters together to identify 5 within this group to serve on the core leadership team for the advancement of Dominican life and mission. In her opening remarks at the DSC meeting on October 7th, 2020, which included leadership and sisters under 70, Sister Pat Toohill shared the following, and I quote, "We are gathered because we desire to tap into our shared passion for Dominican life and mission and to dream together. As Pope Francis reminds us, if we dream alone, we risk seeing mirages. However, as Pat continued, if we dream together, we can achieve true solidarity." Dominic himself is our companion. 815 years ago, he began something new. He saw a need and he responded. Dominic proposed and created a religious order capable of existing anywhere and devoted to preaching truth. Let us take our cues from our brother Dominic. The world is still our cell and the ocean is our cloister. We remain itinerant of mind, body, and spirit. End of quote. On behalf of the Dominican Sisters Conference Leadership Executive Team and our OP Futuring Committee, it is our deepest hope and our prayer that the OP Core Leadership Team for the advancement of Dominican life and mission will take hold of this futuring torch with the love and support from sisters in every generation. We will harness this collective vision and carry the Dominican charism into the future. For the Spirit unites us and guides us all along the way. Thank you.